Watch this.
You ever been here before?
Not to this saloon, no.
An Eagle Bar is getting attention like it never has before for its approach to Pride Month. We're going to look past the free beer and the discounts to discuss the why behind the owner's take on LGBTQ.
I'm tired of fighting.
It's a candid response from the former House Majority Leader on her loss in last month's primary election, as those results are now official. She's lived a long time being one of Idaho's first. Today, she's celebrating being 106. And we're celebrating too with another visit with Mountain Home's Elaine McCalley. All right, well, we couldn't avoid it much longer. The Eagle Bar that has made a name for itself with catering toward a certain segment of the conservative contingency. In fact, they have a conspiracy theory trivia night where you can win an AR-15. They have a Christian singles mingle night and flat earth events. Well, that bar has hit the motherlode of marketing with its latest idea. Beginning over the weekend, this last weekend, on June 1st, the Old State Saloon kicked off its answer to June being Pride Month, Heterosexual Awesomeness Month, where Mondays, any hetero male can come in for a free beer as long as they're dressed like a hetero male. They have a day for hetero couples. That would be Wednesdays, with a deal on food. And Thursdays are for hetero women. Well, they posted this idea on social media back on May 29th. And as you can imagine, the reaction ran the gamut, and it sparked interest worldwide. To say it went viral would be an understatement. So, take a look at the turnout from Monday, the first of this hetero male night. So many dudes, I know. So many, they announced it was their biggest Monday sales ever. Well, they've been selling hats and shirts to customers all over the world. So we figured we'd stop by to find out not only how it's been going, but why it even went there in the first place. The lunch crowd has arrived at the Old State Saloon. Is this a normal Wednesday for you guys?
No, this is not a normal Wednesday. We don't usually get a crowd in like this, and we don't even have a sign on the building yet. I'm still trying to get a sign on the building.
But they do have a sign on the wall inside.
Heterosexual Awesomeness Month, yes.
It's this Eagle Bar and Grill's response to Pride Month.
Why is it so special for, them to celebrate a whole entire month, but why can't we celebrate that here too? And we're here to support him, 1,000%.
You could have gone to lunch anywhere.
Could have gone anywhere, but we wanted to support this place.
Why?
I don't know, it seemed like someone bucking the trend. And
do you think it's necessary?
I mean, I don't know if it's necessary, but to me, it's kind of like, why not?
But for the big question of why...
Oh man, so it's everything California isn't?
That we needed to ask of the owner.
So I'm a retired police officer.
Who moved to Idaho 6 years ago. Where'd you come up with this idea?
June was approaching, and it was all the stuff coming, and with my beliefs, I love people, but as far as like being Christian, a biblical Christian, to celebrate it, I can't do that. And it's just the last several years has been getting so extreme, like just to the extreme levels. So we created Heterosexual Awesomeness Month.
When you say it's gotten extreme, what do you mean by that?
The imagery that you see all month with parades and getting to the point of nakedness and things with people walking down the street. And I can't get behind that.
Have you seen that locally?
As far as
that extremity?
I don't know. I haven't been down there to look.
Down where?
Where in Boise?
Just Boise in general?
Yeah.
You're talking about like the Pride Festival stuff? Is that what you're talking about? Okay, I got you. Like the Pride Month. Is that extreme to you?
The Pride Month in general?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think what you're getting at is, I'm always going to side with what God says. Okay, in His Word, it's going to be what's moral and not moral, as far as moral righteousness. Okay, and so if the Bible says that it's a sin to act out in homosexuality, then I'm going to agree with what the Bible says. That doesn't mean I don't love homosexuals. It doesn't mean I don't love people. I love people. But just because you love somebody doesn't mean that you're going to jump behind them and support them in every single decision that they make in life. It's not a requirement.
So are you saying that LGBTQ plus people, they are living in sin?
If they are acting out on those decisions. In other words, we're born a certain way with certain tendencies, and that's similar with sexuality. And ultimately, I'm going to side with what God says, okay? And I didn't make the rules; God made the rules. So don't point me. I'm just going off what the Bible says. And it is sinful, you know, to act out on that.
You could just do nothing. Why do this?
I think people, I mean, obviously, with the reaction that's happening around the country and the world, people are, I think they're feeling the way that I was feeling, just kind of fed up with the extremeness of it and how it's the expectation that you're supposed to jump behind and support something, and people are just rejecting it. They're standing up and saying, enough is enough, we don't want all this.
But this isn't a hate thing?
Absolutely not, no hate at all. It's a love thing, it's not hate. It's just, please don't make us like be forced to participate into something that we don't want to do, I guess.
But I guess you're not, though. Are you forced to participate?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is like, when you look at, and I keep saying the word extreme, but it's just everywhere. It's pervasive, and I think people are tired of saying, like, 5 out of the 6 stores I went in today, it was just like all over the place, and I turn on the TV and it's all over the place and everything else. So
instead, those people can come in here.
And there's people commenting online, this is a publicity stunt. This is definitely marketing, for sure, but it's also celebrating heterosexuality, and you can do both of those things at once. I'm a business owner. I want people to come in here, but I also truly love it when people come in here, engage in conversation with each other, learn something about each other, and they get to talk like this to each other, and at the end of it, they realize, hey, you know, we're probably not as far apart as we think we are.
So there you have it. So how busy was lunchtime for hetero couples at the Old State Saloon? They actually ran out of food. They posted that on social media about an hour and a half ago. Might be 2 hours ago. Well, there's a part of what Mark said after I pointed out that he could have just done nothing during Pride Month, not call attention to it. And Mark said, so could have everyone else. He told us if those who wanted nothing to do with what he's doing had just left it alone, had not responded with the hateful comments online, maybe this promotion would not have gone so global. Well, it is official. Primary election results from only about 27% of registered voters across Idaho. They're checked, they're counted, they're now certified. As of 11:15 this morning, Secretary of State's office said the May 21st primary, those results are official and there are no changes, which means all the changes we saw within the Gem State's majority party, those are for real. And that includes a few familiar faces we will not be seeing at the State House next legislative session, like Senate President Pro Tem Chuck Winder, Blackfoot Representative Julianne Young, or Caldwell Representative Julie Yamamoto, and the entire incumbent contingent from District 8, which includes former House Majority Leader Megan Blanksma, who, after 8 years at the Capitol, in just a few months' time, went from the number 2 leadership position in the Idaho House to just a regular citizen. You gonna miss it?
I am relieved.
Are you?
To some degree, yes.
Why?
Because I'm tired of fighting. Because you want to do good things for people, sometimes it becomes about the fight. And it's not that I won't continue to be involved or won't continue to fight for things that I find to be important, but just the constant fighting, you know, and particularly amongst our caucus, it wears on you.
She also told us she will look forward to just being a regular farmer again. The smell of the fresh cut alfalfa and the tilled dirt. Blanksma, by the way, is still a representative for Hammett until the end of November. Threats of a lawsuit over the hangar collapse out by the Boise airport. We got a Daybell appeal and the loss of a leader. Morgan Romero has more of your top headlines in today's 411.
We might file a lawsuit against them.
The attorney for the families of 2 of the victims of the Boise hangar collapse filed a notice of intent to sue the city of Boise. Mariano Kokoch and Mario Santesi were killed January 31st after a hangar under construction on Boise airport property collapsed. The notice of intent to file a tort claim states if they sue, it would be for a total of $30 million. $15 million for each family for economic damages, non-economic damages, and gross negligence. Chad Daybell is appealing his conviction. Online court records show Daybell filed a notice of appeal of his death sentence conviction. He also filed a motion to appoint a public defender for his appeal and post-conviction proceedings. A jury found Daybell guilty of killing his wife of nearly 30 years, Tammy, and two of his current wife's children, JJ and Tylee. That same jury sentenced him to death on Saturday. Today, people throughout the state are remembering former Idaho Chief Justice Daniel Eisman. The Idaho State Supreme Court says he passed away last night at the age of 77. He spent 31 years serving in Idaho's judiciary until his retirement in 2017. And that's the 411 on the 208. I'm Morgan Romero.
Well, the average lifespan in America is about 76 years of age. So to live long beyond that is certainly an accomplishment. But that's not the only accomplishment this centenarian collected. 25 years ago, Elaine McCalley was honored with an induction into Idaho's Aviation Hall of Fame. She's the class of 1999. You're looking at her picture, located near baggage claim at the Boise airport. There's also a few others out there, apparently, according to Nancy, who sent us this picture last year. She sent us this picture last year because Elaine was turning 105 last year. Today, she's turning 106. So we thought Elaine was worth celebrating again. But blowing by the century mark, that isn't Elaine's only claim to fame. Becoming one of the first 4 women in the Gem State to get a pilot's license wasn't the only ground broken by Elaine in her brief career as a pilot either. It says so why she is on that plaque, I should say. It says why on the plaque at the airport. But we also wanted to hear why from Elaine herself. Monday is usually lawn day at the McCalley house in Mountain Home. But this
105.
isn't a usual Monday.
That's pretty amazing.
Inside,
Yeah, I think it is. I don't mind telling my age now. Nothing much, just
Elaine McCalley
pictures.
doesn't mind showing off her scrapbook either.
That's me with my friend. We used to fly together quite a bit.
A tremendous tome which holds the memories of just a few of her 105 years.
We had chevrons here to tell us whether we had a radio license or not.
Flying first found its way into Elaine's world nearly a century ago.
I'd been wanting to fly since I was a child.
Growing up in Gooding, she convinced her parents to take her to the airport.
I had my first airplane ride when I was a sophomore in high school. It was in an autogyro.
What's that?
Well, it's like an airplane, but with rotor blades on top.
She was hooked and soon started lessons until she got a job with the Office of Employment Security.
And then I went to Boise in 1938, and my first paycheck, I headed for the airport.
$5 of Elaine's weekly paycheck went toward weekend lessons at Boise's Booth Field. Within a year, Elaine had earned her license.
My mother was my first passenger after I got my private pilot's license. So I took off, and after we got up and kind of circled, she says, "Can't we just turn around and land?" She was hanging on.
Elaine wasn't the only woman either.
I think there were about 6 or 8 of us there, and we kind of had our own little group, and we had a Northwest Pilots Association women.
They would just fly for fun, she says. Breakfast in Ontario, sightseeing in Hell's Canyon.
The feeling of freedom and being up there, flying around, it's a special feeling. I didn't plan on making a living of it ever. No, I didn't. I just wanted to fly.
Then, in April 1940, Elaine made another maiden voyage, becoming the first woman in Idaho
Has commercial pilot's license.
to get a commercial pilot's license. The first one.
That's what they told me, so I don't know. I guess I did.
For Elaine, it just meant covering the cost of the plane.
I could then take, paying passengers, and I did do that on weekends.
Until one weekend in 1941, Sunday, December 7th.
And I think it was the day the war started. A couple of us had rented some airplanes to fly up over Anderson Reservoir, where they were building the dam up there. So we flew around up there and came back, and that's when we walked into the office and said, oops, Japan has bombed Hawaii. Everything changed from then on.
Elaine joined the Civil Air Patrol.
And then I got married, and during the war, my husband was an instructor pilot then for the Army Air Corps, and we wound up in Missouri.
And Elaine wound up with her days as a pilot about done.
Oh my, it was after the war.
That was the last time Elaine flew a plane.
Oh, I'd say in the 1940s, after the war.
Do you regret that?
Oh, kinda, yeah.
All these years later, those memories still feel like they were yesterday. How often do you think about those days and flying?
Often.
Even after all these years?
Yep.
Which is why Elaine still loves talking about those years after living 105 of them.
Well, I've had, the desire to do it over all these years. I still dream about it.
Well, now she's lived 106 years. And just because she hasn't piloted a plane by herself in more than 70 years, it doesn't mean Elaine hasn't flown recently. Nancy's husband, that's the woman who texted us about Elaine in the first place, her husband, Skip, well, he's a pilot. He likes to take Elaine for a flight in his Cessna anytime around his birthday, something he has been doing for Elaine for years. And these photos are from when he did it last year, right around September. So it took a couple of months because the weather just wasn't right. And Nancy told us today, Skip hopes to take Elaine out flying this year for her birthday, for number 106. No date set because, well, the weather is still starting to get a little bit better, but not quite there. As for a party, Elaine was going to have one with her family over the weekend, but she was too tired, so they had to cancel that. But that didn't stop her from going to the gym yesterday, where she continues to work out, has continuously for the last 25 years. Nancy said the gym threw her a little party there for her, which is great. She still drives herself to the gym. Elaine does. She still plays bridge with her friends, and she still plays around on the computer. So we'd like to wish happy birthday to Elaine, and we do hope you get that plane ride soon.
Those are some beautiful pictures of last night's sunset for you. Overall today, very pleasant. We've had those temperatures on the warm side. You can see in this view from Stanley right now, just beautiful. It looks like a couple people are out there on the lake enjoying some of the sunshine, which is great because it's going to really warm up as we go into the next at least 3 days. So as we look at some of those high temperatures, you can see really nice in Stanley, 71 degrees. In the valleys, we've been seeing those highs in the 80s for today. And overall, the evening will be staying on the pleasant side. We'll see a couple more clouds drift into the area at times. And even those low temperatures getting a little on the warmer side, 60 degrees for some of those lows in the valleys. Tomorrow kicks off a very hot stretch for us where we'll see lots of valley temperatures getting close to 90 degrees. So that's what's coming up tomorrow. During the next few days, we'll see a mix of sun and clouds, and we'll see some background chances of some isolated showers, possibly one or two of those getting a little bit stronger and becoming a thunderstorm. But then as we get closer to Saturday, that's when we'll see the hottest temperatures of the next 7 days we're expecting, and that will be near record heat. And so it's a little bit of a shift of a mindset for us because if we look till about last Thursday or Friday, a lot of those temperatures were below the average and just a few above that. Now we're flipping the script where more of those temperatures we saw in the past few days and what we will see in the future will continue to be way above average. So it's feeling a little bit more like summer instead of like spring. So we're going to have to probably change a few things that we were doing in our routine and be a little bit more summer-like. As far as the specific high temperatures for tomorrow, you can see those 90s are expected in valley locations. A little bit more sunshine towards McCall and closer to 80 degrees for the high temperature and a few stray showers for some of the eastern areas. And again, I talked about the heat on Saturday. You can see some of those temperatures again approaching triple digits. So we could get close to that in several valley areas, but you can see some of those shower chances drifting through some of the mountain areas at times. Doesn't look too significant, but something that we could see pop up at different times. Overall, though, your 7-day forecast is looking very hot. And again, triple digits could be in store on Saturday.
Not quite as many comments as the Old State Saloon got on their Facebook page, but we got a lot of comments today about what they're doing for the month of June, like this one here from Emmett, Prideful and Emmett. If two men holding hands walk into the Old State Saloon, would they be served? Would they be welcomed? Mark says yes, they would be served and they would be welcomed. May not get that free beer on Mondays. Going to the next one here. Support hetero pride. How about White History Month, too? Let's see what other oppressed minority we can mock. Brian, you are so leftist. If one group can celebrate, why can't others? Quit attacking that bar owner. Shame on you, says Sue. I'm not saying anybody can't celebrate, but this one from Ted in Castleford. Now go question an LGBTQ person as thoroughly as you did that cafe owner. I know you won't. What would you like me to ask them? That's my question to you. I don't know what that means. Irony to see traditional Idaho Republicans are now being so heavily influenced by radical right-wing Californians, says Brian in Boise. Your last comment on the Old State Saloon story says it all. The fact that their promotion has brought out the haters is proof enough that the love and inclusion mantra of the LGBTQ crowd is a farce and a sham. Dissenters need not apply, says Mark in Meridian. But we don't know all those commenters if they are part of the LGBTQ community. They could be allies. They could not be. They could just want to just get online and spew hate, which a lot of people just do on a regular basis. The bar owner who is promoting Heterosexual Month said that people are not too far apart on this issue. I disagree. He is marginalizing the gay community with his promotions and anti-gay rhetoric, says Debbie. Interesting how one of the patrons in that Eagle restaurant stated why do they get a month to celebrate? I wonder if she realizes she can celebrate the other 11 months of the year. That's just her opinion. Brian, loving people means supporting people. Full stop. Listening to the Eagle bar owner talk about the Bible and how if someone goes against something in the Bible, he doesn't support it, I would like to know if he lives a sin-free life. He'll be the first to admit he doesn't. The irony of the ex-cop feeling hated for just being who he is, it's not about love or hate, it's about money, says Clarine. We'll see you tomorrow.